absolutely blessed to be able to see this face first thing on a Monday morning. No, Armand? No, not really? All right. Okay, Nicholas Azizian. Jackie.
Sorry.
Boom. Benny's here. Vasily? Vasily?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Ali?
Here.
Oops. Fiona? Nope. And Steven? Nope. Isis? Ashton is not here. That's not here. I'm going to mark him down for tardy because I have a feeling he'll show up. B-Tokes? Where's Tokes at? Good morning. And okay. All right. How are we doing? How many of you guys attempted? Now, I put the now, if you guys remember, I put the homework on, but that was not for you guys. If you guys actually check your portal, your guys' that assignment is due tomorrow. Now, did you need to have, what's it called? Did you guys need to have any new knowledge of anything that I went over on Friday? No, you didn't in order to do it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we will go over that problem and then we're going to go over a couple of practice problems, but there's one more thing. Again, like I said, we have time. I just don't want to rush you guys. Okay. Now let's share screen. Okay. So we're going to go back to I'm just going to make a for loop. Okay. And so in this for loop, I'm going to go for int j equals 0, j is less than 16, j plus plus. Okay. All right. For int j equals 0. Okay. What type of variable, first of all, is j?
Local.
Local variable. Very good. If I did this, what type of variable is this?
Global.
Okay, now very important question, okay? What is it that actually matters? Is it where it's initialized or is it where it's declared?
Where it's declared.
Bingo, who said that? Nick, great job. It's where it's declared is what determines whether or not it's a local or a global variable, okay? So I'm just gonna, that was just more of like a review. I'm gonna put this back in here. And I'm going to do this. All right. So now let's say that I print out this. Okay. And then all right, so let's say that I print out hello and then I hit out bye. Okay, do it just like this. All right, what do you think it, now, actually, some of you are smart, I may have reviewed this, some of you know programming, some of you may not, but I'm just gonna review it. Some of you may think that this prints out hello, bye, 3 times, because you'll see this, okay? Some of you may think that it prints out hello, bye, hello, okay? When in fact, what it does is it prints out hello, bye, hello, bye. Okay, so you can see it prints it out twice. All right. Now, this is what we call a nested for loop. Okay, nested for loop or inner for loop. Okay, which means that this one is the outer loop. So for j equals 0, j is less than 2, j plus plus, this out hello, and then you have the inner loop. So the way that this is working is it's saying system net after print line hello. Then it reaches the for loop. K equals 0, 0 is less than 3 by, 1 is less than 3 by, 2 is less than 3 by 3. Okay, as soon as this for loop is done, okay, it then comes to here. All right, the key thing that you have to understand is that if you reach a for loop inside of a for loop, you must run the inner for loop until it is completely terminated. So right now, once you hit this, for the time being, it's like this part doesn't even matter. You've got to get to the end of this loop before you can get to line 12. Once I'm at 3 equals 3, that means I've printed by. I'm here. There's nothing left in my loop. Now I can go back to my outer loop. Okay. I add 1. Is 1 less than 2? Yes. It prints hello. Here's where the confusion comes in. Historically, I've had students think that, okay, K is at 3, so it's not going to print anything. No. With an inner for loop, this gets reset. It starts over. So this goes back to 0, only with a nested loop. This stays. Okay, this stays. All right. But other than that, this gets completely reset. Now, okay, what if I were to accidentally do something like this? What is this going to print out now?
Doesn't it go forever?
Go forever.
What is this term called? You should have read it in chapter 11.
Infinite loop? I don't know.
An infinite loop. Exactly. Okay. You need to, now that is something that you do need to know. I'm not going to give you massive if statements that go on for like 20 lines of code. But the one thing you should check, the very, very, very first thing you should always check in a loop, does it terminate? Identify the terminating statement. Here, okay, j is less than 2, 0, and I've got a plus plus. Will 0 reach 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
Same thing here. I've got 0. 0 is less than 3. Will 0 reach 3? Yes, it will. Let's get the k plus plus. If I did this, what prints out technically? Let's see.
Hello, bye, infinitely.
Exactly. This would print out hello and then by infinitely. Okay. So that's how we do it. So again, this is what I wanted to bring up. This is a nested for loop. Okay. Now, just wanted to go back into some practice again. Okay. Just wanted to go back into some practice. All right. Let's say, now, one of the practice problems that we did, I think it was count how many times a coin flipped heads and tails. Is that correct? Was that the practice problem that I gave you guys?
No, you had for homework?
No. Well, I told you guys there was one assignment that I gave you that I wanted you to just attempt.
Factorial.
Factorial. Okay.
Except it wasn't really factorial. It was like adding the numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So how many of you guys were able to get that? And how many of you guys got it correctly? With the formatting. Okay. So I'll show you kind of what I was looking for. So basically what I wanted is I wanted the user okay, basically what I wanted the user, I'm just going to set it up, to enter a number, okay? And then this number was theoretically the number that would, what's it called? That would control how many times we're counting down from, correct?
Yeah.
So int num equals, what was it? Int num equals kb dot next. All right, so this is how I was looking for it to be done. Okay, some of you did it multiple ways, which is fine. Okay, So the way I would have done it is I would have said for int j equals num. I set j to be my starting number. I don't want, once this number is initialized, I don't want to affect it. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to screw with it at all. Okay. Int j equals num. J is less than num. I'm sorry, not j is less than num. J is greater than 0. Okay. Or in this case, greater than or equal to 1. Okay. Whenever I count down, I don't like to use 0. And the reason why is because let's say I'm multiplying by accident. If I multiply 0, I forgot to change this to just let greater than, everything will be 0. So just to play it safe, whenever I'm doing a countdown, I just do 1. And then I do j minus minus. Okay. Then what I do is I'm going to need an if statement. If j is equal to 1, right off the bat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with the end of my solution. Now, I already forgot something. I forgot that we're adding together. I need a summation variable. I need a summation variable, okay? Because a summation variable is what's going to allow me to add everything together. So the first thing I should do, sorry about that, guys. It's 8:40 in the morning. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to add sum plus equal to j. What this does is no matter what j is, let's say it's 10. On the very first loop, I'm going to add 10. Second loop, I'll add 9. Third loop, I'll add 8. Let's just say it was 1. Okay. First, right off the first loop, I'm going to add 1. So no matter what it is, I have a summation variable that's going to keep track of the total. Okay. Remember, if you're cycling through counting something or you've been add to keep a total of something, you need a summation or a counter variable. So if j equals 1, then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say sys out, and I will say, in this case, 1 equals plus j. Okay. So basically what this does is if I put in 1, 1 equals 1. That's my terminating statement. This will be the last thing that is run. Okay, basically when I hit 1. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit an else. This will account for any other numbers. Okay, sys out. Now again, I don't have to worry about adding. Some of you probably did the adding inside here. You could have knocked it out right here as well. You don't need to. Okay, so what I can do is this. This is where I would do my formatting. I would say j plus, and in quotes, plus space. So if I were to do, actually, let me put a print line or prints. Okay, so enter a number, 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, oh, whoops, equals, sorry, not, this should be sum. There we go. So this question wasn't too difficult to figure out, but the formatting is what I was looking for. Did you figure out that this was a formatting question? What do I do when I get to 1? Everything else, I just add this and I concatenate a plus sign. That was it. Because when I get to 1, obviously 1 is 100%. You don't even need to use j. When it gets to 1, the problem is over. So I can go ahead and I can put 1 in my literal. That is what I wanted you guys to figure out. Okay. Now, what if I really was doing a factorial? What are the 2 things that I would need to change?
In terms of formatting or actually getting
formatting, nothing. So technically in terms of formatting,
just put the
if we count formatting, 3 things. So this is 1.
Yeah,
I got 2 more.
you have to change the sum plus equals j, right?
What do I change that to?
Multiply.
Yep. I got one last thing. That one last thing. Come on, guys. When I get to 0, anything multiplied by 0 is going to be 0. Just change this to 1. So now let's say I did 6. 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is 720. Okay? If I do this, if I would have left this at 0, doesn't matter what number I put, it's going to be 0. Okay? So just little things like that. Make sure that you keep your eye on. Okay? Now, there's a helpful tip that I wanted to give you guys as well. Okay? We're going to go back. So how do we feel? Is this a good example? Do you guys see? How many of you guys did it almost like this? How many of you did it pretty much like this? That's good. Okay, so now more importantly, how many of you actually had trouble doing this? Okay, that's perfectly fine. Again, excuse me, this comes with practice. Okay, if you're gonna get better with doing more practice. Not more importantly is, again, like I told you, there's only certain ways that we can ask a question. This one was adding a total, keep track of a total. Imagine you were incrementing a total. Like, you're gonna remember now, okay, we're adding something, I'm gonna need this variable, and then basically how you increment it or what the formatting is. Now, 9 times out of 10, I wanted you guys to print this out. More often than not, they're just gonna want this. Give me back that total. So don't worry about the formatting. If you at least figured out this part, you're golden. Get better at this, obviously. But if you got this part, we're good. Okay? Yes, Ben?
Was it all right if we used a ternary instead of a if-else?
Ternary's fine. Golden. It's cute. Sexy. I like it. Way to go on a Monday morning. Way to start it off. Good job, Ben. All right. Now. Okay. So let's take a look at, yes, Kennedy.
For the conditional and declaration, you use J to make a local variable. I just used the next in and used like the semicolon. Could you do that instead of creating J?
Okay. Oops. So instead of J, you used num itself?
Yeah. And then I just did semicolon, num is greater than or equal to 1. And then
That's what I did.
So here's where I'm torn with that. And I actually avoided doing it that way. And here's why. Kennedy, you're gonna get, and anybody else who did it this way, you're gonna come into a situation where they don't want you to mess with the original number. Don't screw with the original number. Okay? If you see my way, num has been, now I've used num to initialize J, but that's it. I never screwed with num. Now what you did was basically this. Okay? Now I'm gonna get some errors because I'm doing this. You basically did that, or you did this. I'm assuming, right? And then num minus minus. Okay. Now, so is this fine? Yes, this is perfectly fine. Okay. Could you do it this way? Yes. Now, the one thing I just want you to keep track of, let me just change it. So this works perfectly fine. And anybody else who did this, it's okay. Not, the thing is, you have now altered the original number. What if you need to use that number somewhere else? Do you see what I'm saying? Technically, and I can tell you this, in the AP, they're going to want you to make a clone of a number that you're going to get. So in this instance, we did that with J. Are you wrong in doing this? No, it's clever. It's smart. Could you get away with it on a problem like this, or we don't need to use num again? Yes, absolutely. I just try to avoid showing you that because, again, now I've manipulated that number. What if I forgot what that number was? There's no way in the program. I would now have to make another variable okay, that is equal to num. Now I've used more memory because now I would have to go, in case I needed it, now at least I know t has what the original number was. So it's more a form of protecting the original number. Nothing wrong with it. Just, and it's not that it's not smart, it's just not cautious. So, you know, you get full points. Yeah, especially in a program like this. It's fine, easy, nothing big. Just, I would advise not doing it that way. Okay. All right. So anybody have any questions regarding that? That's a great question, and I hope that explains it for you.
Marty.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just how you saved it in a different variable, wouldn't that also change?
Nope. Because if I did this, t equals num.
Yeah.
Okay, the minute I initialize t to this one number, do you see anywhere in my for loop that would also change num and t?
No.
It's just you got to look at it this way. T is not always going to stay what num is. T is going to be what num is at line 10 until you change t.
Okay.
So for example, let's say I put in 10. T is going to be 10. Moving forward, unless I change t somewhere else, t is going to say 10. I am counting down num all the way to 1. That has no bearing on t.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Anybody else? All right, so here we go. Now let's say that I had this string literal here. Okay. All right. Now, let's say again, oops, I didn't give it a name. Let's say X. So let's say that I wanted you to count the X's. Again, for some of you, you already know how to do this. If this is boring to you, great. It means I've done my job. Okay. You should be happy too, that if you already know how to do this. Okay. First thing I said, I want to count the X's or the G's. In G equals 0. I need my counter variable. Okay. For int j equals 0. J is less than what? You can tell me. What's my conditional?
Is it x dot length?
Bingo. Good job, Armand. X dot length. And then what?
J plus plus.
Bingo. Very good. Okay, so, oops, box. All right. All right, so I have J, oops, where are you? Oh, that's what I did. All right, so have my for loop set up. How many of you guys at this point would get this, do you think? I'm telling you right now, guys, this is an AP style question. The way that it would work is you would get half a point for the attempt. And if you got this whole thing right, you would get the full point. That is not a joke. If you were capable of understanding that you needed a for loop to cycle through, okay, and you set it up in a for loop properly, you would get half a point. The thing we would then look for is, does your conditional allow you to test every single letter? That's where you would get the other point. I'm going to start getting into AP explanation and how to think so that you guys know how to code. All right. So for j equals 0, j is less than x dot length, j plus plus. Then what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to now do an if statement. If if x dot what? How do I break down a letter?
Substring.
How many parameters? 1 or 2?
2.
Okay, what are my parameters going to be? Using substitution. Starting off at the first letter.
0 and 1.
0.
J to j plus 1. Remember, j is great to use because we're starting at 0. What is always the first index of a string?
0.
0. So we just add 1 to it, 0 to 1. So 0, 1, exclusive of 1. Guys, this is how you break down a letter by letter. This is how you do it, okay? This is something where it's like, remember I told you there's some people will just naturally get it. Some will just have to kind of memorize the process. Memorize this process. This is how you break down a letter. If you need to, okay, how do I break down a letter? Whatever the string name is, dot substring, whatever the variable is to the variable plus 1. Okay, or whatever, okay? Dot equals ignore case. And in this case, I'm going to say G. I'm going to do what? G plus plus. Okay. And then here, there's 10 G's in here. All right. Now, big thing. What if I wanted to find out how many appearances of go are there? If I run this right now, I'm going to get an error. Okay. Oh, well. Yeah, that's fine. That's weird. All right. So if I want, no, actually I take it back. I'm going to get an, okay. Now I wanted to find, okay, so I have to make some modifications, but then you'll see, hopefully you'll see now. Okay. So I've got to make some modifications. I want to see go.
J plus 2.
Okay. J plus 2. Because this will give me 0, 1, 2, exclusive of 2. Now this one, who said J plus 2?
Nick.
Nick, great job. Okay, you're killing it. Keep it up. Okay. J plus 2. But the only problem is now we have the error. Rule of thumb. Okay. Now remember this rule. It's an easy rule to remember. If I am looking for one letter at a time, if I'm just looking for G, okay, J plus 1, just one letter at a time. Okay. Dot length. Okay, J is less than X dot length. If I'm looking for 2, okay, obviously I've got to do this 2. J dot length minus 1. If I'm looking for something with 3 letters, J dot length minus 2. If I'm looking for something with 4 letters, J dot length minus 3. Whatever you're looking for, you subtract it, because now what's going to happen is this. We go to the length minus 1. So whatever the length is, it would have been here. We are going to stop 1, because right now if we went all the way to length, it would try to test this and this. There's nothing in that index. Ignore the quotes. So we subtract 1 so that this is the last thing that it tests. If we're looking for 1 letter at a time, less than X dot length. Looking for 2 letters, X dot length minus 1. Looking for 3 letters, X dot length minus 2. So let's say I gave you this. Okay. I want you. Okay. Let me make this a little bigger. Oops, box. Okay. All right. I want you to tell me how many times cat and dog appears in this string. Okay, now I just told you I need cat and dog. Isis, how many things am I counting? What's that?
Like how many words you're counting?
So I said cat and dog, right? How many
Yeah.
things am I looking for?
2.
How many counter variables am I going to need?
2?
Bingo. Yeah, you're right. That's fine. That's exactly. I asked you to look for 2 different things. You need 2 separate variables. So what we're going to do is we're going to say int cat equals 0 equals. Okay. Now I'm looking for cat and dog. How many letters does cat have in it?
3.
Okay. How many letters does dog have in it?
3.
3. Good. We're golden, right? Okay, we're good. Okay, now for in j equals 0, j is less than x dot length, minus. So what we're going to do now is this, okay? So what is my length? How many letters am I looking for? What is my rule of thumb? I'm looking for something with 3 letters. What do I have to modify my conditional to be?
-2.
Bingo, okay? Now, if x dot substring j to, what should this be? J plus 2 or j plus 3?
+3.
Okay. And now, right? We can just say cat. Now, can I use an and or an or?
Yes.
No, I can't.
Because then you'll increment both of them.
Bingo. Because
Oh.
Benny, is that Benny? Is that, you said it right, Benny?
Yeah.
Okay, because Benny's right. Because here's the thing. If I ask you for increment how many times does cat or dog appear, then you have one variable and you can just increment. Then we could use if it's equals ignore case cat or equals ignore case dog. Benny's right. We could just increment one variable. But I want you to tell me how many times cat appears, how many times dogs appears. Okay. So the good thing is, copy and paste is our best friend. So I basically, okay, in this instance, you wouldn't need an if else if. You could just use 2 ifs. Okay. And if this is dog.
Wouldn't it work the same if I used an else if though?
You could, but it's just easier if you just use 2 ifs. It's fine.
And then you couldn't use an else, right?
You could. Don't use an else, because why would you use an else? Because if you used an else ATD, does that equal dog?
No.
So you used an else, you're basically saying, okay, any other combination add, right?
Yeah.
Thank Nick. Okay. So else if or an if, I would have just used an if. It's easy. You wouldn't have got marked off. But so do you guys see what's happening now? Okay. So now sys out cat. So if I run this now, okay, cat appears 4 times, dog appears 3 times. But let me now change it up. Okay. What if I just wanted you to look for the word at? What if I wanted you to work for the word at?
You change cat to at, j plus 3 to j plus 2, and length -2 to length -1.
Here's the problem with that. Okay. The way that it is, okay, I would never get this last at, because this would this would be right now, the way that this is, it's testing it in groups of 3. I would never get to this 3. So I have 2 different lengths. In this instance, okay, in this instance,
I need for loop. Yeah.
I need a completely separate for loop. Okay. So I would say in this one now, x minus 1, I would change this to at. Okay. And there. Okay. And this changes to j plus 2. You would think that, Benny, but it's because you are with this condition. Now, could I do a nested for loop? Yeah, I could. I could do that. Yeah. But I've got 2 for loops now here. It should still be 4 and 3. Okay. You guys kind of seeing now how we're doing, guys? This is like an AP question. Now notice that it really isn't. How many of you guys think it's difficult? And who thinks it's difficult? Who thinks that it's more busy work, kind of repetitious? Okay, what I'm trying to do right now, guys, is I'm trying to give you guys the patterns. This is what you're going to see, okay? I'm going to be giving you guys, I'm going to be throwing questions out. I'll tell you right now, this type of a question will be on your exam. For me, for my exam, for you guys, this will be on your exam. 10,000%. Huh?
As a free response or like a multiple
As a
choice?
free response. Obviously, it'll be a little bit harder, but if you think about it, this took us 10 minutes to do in the recording. That's what I want, about 5 to 10 minutes of you guys thinking. If you can get it faster, then hell yeah, great job. Okay? But the other thing is never, and I cannot repeat this enough. Never, never, never leave anything blank. Always attempt something. Is that understood? Good. Okay. So that being said, anybody have any questions? We're going to stop here. You guys already know your homework. You're going to have a quiz. I can tell you right now, your quiz, give me a day or so to grade it. It's going to be a free response question like this. Now, that being said, also, how many of you guys would like me to do just a quick review tonight? Okay. Tell you what, I will hop on and I'll send it to everybody right now. Because it's good because my international students can ask me questions as well. I will hop on tonight at is 8 too late for you guys? Okay, let me send an email to everybody just real quick. Hang on. Outside.
Mr. Marty?
Hold on. Done. Okay. Yeah, what's up?
Where can we get more of these practice problems?
Right now, at least for right now, I don't want to give away my secret recipe, okay? But there is, after this test, I will give you a couple more sites, okay? But let me get through this test first. Now, I have no problem literally throwing up like 10 or 15 practice problems. How many of you guys would want me to do that?
Yes, please.
Okay, I will throw up some practice problems, and then I will throw up. What I'll do is I'll put them like in a PowerPoint, so that there's just 10. So what I'll do is tell you what I'm going to put up some practice problems. Then I'll put the solution, practice problem, solution, practice problem, solution, practice problem, solution, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and so that way you can go through, see if you got it, and then go from there. Okay. All right, so that is it for today. Again, your homework is not due. Your homework is let me make sure. How many numbers will be entered, et cetera, and then and then telling me how many are evens, okay? All right, that's it. Any questions? I know I went over, guys. I'm sorry about that. I went over a little bit. So I think we should be good. If anybody has any questions, just let me know, all right?
Thank you.
Great job, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
I was gonna ask about the 2 points because some people got them added to their grade, but I don't think I got mine added.
I know that it's mid-quarter. I'm going to get everything done today.
All right, cool.
Some people
Thank you.
have, some people haven't. I know that already. Don't worry, I've got the screenshot.
All right, thank you.
Agreed.
So the quiz will only be one free response.
Yeah, and so what I will do, so I have no problem. So what I do, so you've seen, Kennedy, how I have like the rubric out.
Mhm.
Okay, like, for the free response on your exam, you see how I like have the point system out there and stuff like that. Same thing for this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create the rubric. But what I will do with these free response quizzes, I will actually send the rubric out to you. Okay. So, and then what's going to happen is when I do a free response, I don't need to really, I'm not going to attach the rubric to the feedback. You can always go back and see, and then you'll have the rubric in a screenshot, be like, oh, okay, I missed that. Oh, okay, I missed that. Oh, okay, I missed that. So it's almost indisputable. Like if you lost a point, you can be like, okay, he took it off because I forgot this. And most of the time I'll even say in the comments, -1, you didn't do this. Minus 0.5, you didn't do, as I've been doing on your feedback. So you'll see it like that.
Okay, thank you.
Nick, what's up?
Is it bad that I got the formatting better than I got the actual loop?
It's not bad, but I could care less about the format. Like I said, the programming and the loop are the most important part. You need to get the coding down. You need to get the analytical process down. On the AP, I'm being nice. I'm actually kind of just being a little bit soft on you guys. They're not going to care that you got the formatting down. You will get 0 points for the formatting. You will get the point for the analyzation.
Okay.
Breaking down of the code. So I don't mean to say that in a harsh way, but that's like the least of your worries.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Marty?
Yes.
I just want to say thank you for making the quiz just a free response because multiple choice sucks. That's all I got to say.
You have to remember, Tokes, that you got 40 free response, or 40 multiple choice on the AP.
Yeah, I know. I'm
To train you guys to get used to that.
yeah. I'm a little worried about that, to be honest.
You know,
Because like
Ben, you're a great programmer. You got to remember again, it's October 5th. I'm gonna make miracles happen between now and that time. Okay. So don't worry about that. All right. That literally should be the least of your worries. Just trust me. Just trust me. Let me take care of you in terms of like, let me get you prepped. Give me time to get you prepped. Watch the tips and tricks that I give you, and you're gonna be fine.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know if like you've seen it, but like when it comes to like free response or like the actual like code this and make this work, like that's where I'm like, because I'm used to that. I've been doing that for like years at this point. Right.
I can tell.
But the multiple choice is just like so, and like it's the super finicky ones too, where it's like, oh, but this has to be like right here and not down here, so like minus 0.5 or like some stuff like that, where it really gets me.
Sounds good. So
yeah.
All right.
All right. Yeah, and just for the really quick, I thought the for loop elaboration homework thing was due today. It says it was due today. I actually, you know how Kennedy was talking about how she just used the nums variable with the scanner?
Okay.
I actually went a step further on the on this assignment. I actually just straight up plugged like I had a if statement within the for loop, and instead of initializing the scanner, I just put the dot next inside a if statement.
Okay, that's
bad.
Yeah, don't do that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, are you starting now? Honestly, are you starting to see? Do you see how I'm taking my time with for loops, and do you see how like everybody seems like they're slowly getting better?
Yeah.
And now are you seeing like how I'm taking my time now and stuff like that just to make sure?
Yeah.
A lot of teachers don't do what I'm doing right now.
I'm aware. Yeah. No, for real.
Okay, so hopefully you're seeing the advantage of having me as a teacher, and that's not tooting my own horn, but like I will get prepped.
Toot your horn. I don't care. Like I'm not exaggerating, and I've been saying this for years, and I'll keep saying it. The fact that you were brought on to the like as a comp sci teacher to Sierra Canyon is not, it's not a mistake. It's like the teachers before were. It would be an understatement to call them terrible.
Yeah.
Like they were not good.
And also the other thing, which kids should be happy about is, again, remember, I didn't come looking for you guys. I was literally stolen from Milken. So that only happens when your reputation's out there. So So good things are gonna happen. Just all I can ask you to do, Ben, is just trust me with the multiple choice. I've had students in your position. Basically, I can already see you're gonna probably crush the free response. Okay. But
I think so too.
you're gonna struggle with the multiple choice. I just need you, there's 40 questions. I need you to get at least 20 of them right. Because I don't think you're gonna get a perfect on the free response. Okay.
Well, let's just say hypothetically, I do perfect on everything else and get 20 on the multiple choice. Is that still a 5?
What's that?
Let's say I get perfect on everything, just hypothetically, right? And I get a 20 out of 40 on the multiple choice.
Okay.
Would that be a 5?
You got a 20 on the multiple choice, and what's the other one?
I perfect everything else. Stellar.
It would give you 60. You would barely get a 5. You gotta look at it, you gotta look at it this way. Generally,
Oh shoot, I gotta go to my film class.
don't worry, you're
Oh,
fine.
shoot.
Who's your teacher?
Mr. Gavazden.
I'll tell him you're with me. Hold on. So, I'll just tell him that I'm finishing up with a problem with you.
All right. No objections here.
Okay. I have his phone number, so I just texted him. All right. So yeah. So basically, if you want to go for a 5, you got to get at least a 25. Okay.
Okay.
So,
I think I could do that.
But you also got to look at it this way. So the way that it works is the first 10 are pretty easy multiple choice problems. The second 10 are medium. The third 10 are really hard. They're not. I'm not joking. Okay, really hard. Then the last. I'm sorry. First 10 medium. Second 10 or first 10 easy. Second 10 medium. Third 10 hard. 31 to 35 brutal. Brutal is an understatement. Okay, understatement. Okay, and then last is okay, and then the last thing is what's it called
36
so the
to 40.
last 5 go back to medium to kind of let you finish off on a high note to feel like, okay, maybe I didn't do too bad. Okay, so
Cool.
yeah, so it goes easy, medium, hard, 5 super hard, 5 medium.
I think I can get a 75 on the multiple choice, like pretty, like decently, like because I've been scoring that repeatedly, like whether I review like for an hour before the quiz or I don't review at all.
Dan needs you in class. He's like,
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, so Ben, don't worry. I love talking with you. So we can chat about this another time, even tonight, maybe later. So at 8 or whatever. But get to class. I'll chat with you later. But don't worry. Keep in mind, I'm gonna get you prepared, brother. You know that.
Yeah. For sure.
All right. I'm hoping this is slowly starting to turn into one of your more fun classes.
I mean, it was in the beginning. Don't worry about it, man.
Oh, yeah. Take care, buddy.
You
Bye.
too. Thank you. Bye.